G'day guys, this is a 2005 BL Liberty. Just a few pointers about the gearbox and clutch and all that while I walk around the job. So number one, you want the T50 tools, the T50 male to fit these. Okay, but you want the best you can find. I'll show you what I use, but you'll need, where'd I put it? Up here. That's a quality you're going to need. Not that. That. Okay? And they're going to fuck it up anyway. So we do use power tools to impact these things, but even on this occasion, I was too afraid to do that. They're extremely tight. Two of them were just impossible nearly. And then, you know, if you fuck it up, you'll have to call an engineer or get out yourself if you know how. It's a good opportunity to do sway bar bushes. Obviously, you can see this one. I mean, really, how soft it is. Stuff like that. Any other stuff you're going to do. You know, there is a tool from Subaru to hang the engine from the top dog bone torque mount. And if you want to do the rear main, if it's leaking, if not, make sure you don't damage this surface here. You know, when you pull the seal out, make sure you do it properly. Okay. On this model, this unit comes as a whole. You can't get these bushes, but on the 6-cylinder that I've got, the 3-litre B with the STI box, these are smaller and they are available. Output shaft seals, but they just tend to fall out, so get them. But most importantly, if your thrust is noisy and your clutch is slipping, don't drive. Fix it. Otherwise, you're going to end up like this. Now, these parts are all replaceable, right? The clips, the fork that's damaged. We can't see it in the picture, but yeah, it's screwed up. That's the dual mass flywheel, and there is a conversion we're using. Even Subaru as well sell the solid flywheel with it. So I've had to get these extra parts. They're not overly expensive, but all these bits that I'm getting, yeah, most of them could have been you know, reused on a normal occasion. It's not the thrust, obviously, but and what else is there? That's the main point. Now the reason is because then you damage this sleeve. Now when you do, you'll be up for a gearbox, and when you buy a used gearbox, really, you don't know the history. Usually they leave it sitting around with sand and stuff going in there, so you want to avoid it, especially if it's the first time that the clutch has failed. The gearbox is really good. At all costs, you want to avoid driving, because this gets damaged when it's not right and the pedal's gone really hard, or the pressure plate collapse, whatever it may be. This thing gets damaged, and this was just recoverable. I mean, it was pretty bad. Okay, you can see those lines in there, like embedded to obviously maintain the lubricant there. And of course you have to, you know, grease that very lightly. Starter motors can be hung upside down, cleaned, so the Bendix moves freely. See? And very light coating of grease. You don't pack that with grease either, because it picks up all the stuff from the clutch and then it has the overrun sort of situation. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, the rest is pretty straightforward. Subaru. You know, there is adjustment on all these pieces. If you look carefully, they're oval, so make sure you do things like that to make sure it goes back. And especially if you know the car's perfect, like if someone else has fucked it up, then you got to decide. But yeah, like that's that. And you might want to mod the exhaust, or yeah, hub's always seized, always, very often, so just take it out together. Okay. And that's it. From the top, if I was up there, you'd see I've tagged everything and made things visible. Though I know these cars with my eyes closed, I still tag stuff, not right stuff, but I mean I protect stuff like that. Or over here, I don't want to forget that. I usually do not put bolts back into bodies, but I have been doing that now off one of the mechanics that was here. It can end in tragedy, but it's all right. But actually, the bloke that taught me that did this on a Skyline on the manifold and left it on 2 threads. And of course, when they started the engine, it had gone in and destroyed the whole engine. There was a bang, bang, bang. So if you're going to put bolts in up the top, like I don't do stuff like that, but as you can see here, I have this time. If you're going to do that, screw them all the way in, because when you muck around, the bolt can be bumped and fall out. There's no need to touch the steering here, but of course the angles that you remove the gearbox at are critical. The angles of the engine. In this situation right now, this engine is packed up from the front because it wants to go forward far further. You know, towels and carpets and stuff like that put in the right place are fine. And I know that because I do it. So they protect stuff, but done right, you're not going to damage anything. In fact, they're made that the fuel lines will stretch over and this thing will swing all the way down, but you don't want to leave it like that. And you know, you don't really want to stretch the top hose and stuff like that. You can remove it. As you can see now, the engine's sitting pretty straight. Now, particularly on removal of the gearbox, which is quite difficult, I mean, I get them out in no time usually, because I know that you start at the top, and you can see that right there. Okay, so when you're up there, loosen it all and then start prying it from the top, right? Then come around and in this area, that has to be pried from each side. The engine has to be at the right angle, or these long studs will just hang. It will not be able to remove this gearbox. On the 6-speed in my 6-cylinder STI, in the Liberty with the STI box and in the STI, there is a different system where you must remove the pin with the pull type clutch. This is a 5-speed, this one, so that's all normal. There's no pin or you know, for the thrust, the shaft. You don't remove the hex and that, but on the 6-speed there's a hex there. Anyway, you know, tie everything up, don't damage things, like protect things. You know, here, what have I done? I've protected something, a connector. So, you know, and take the time to do things right in that first instance, and you can't go wrong. As I mentioned, this is not something I've really ever done before. I have started doing it lately on smaller jobs. There's those bolts there, and just remember that's for that alloy bracket for the air filter, but you know, in all the way, even that wasn't enough, because then they'll drop and they'll fall into there. Sorry about the glitching video, I'm running out of the phone always does that, but I forgot my new one at home, so I know it's sickening. Abuse me more, I like it. You know, go ahead and abuse me, say whatever you want, but I'm the one that's doing it, so eat that. Okay, to the rest of you, love you guys, and hope you're all well. I know you're watching this, budgie, and